Am I the a-hole for telling my kids I'm not okay with calling their stepmom mom? Am I the a-hole for punishing my daughter for sliding this note underneath the bedroom door? Would I be the a-hole if I have a mom's wheelchair accessible van towed? Am I the a-hole for telling my kids I'm not okay with calling their stepmom mom? 2 years ago, my husband left me for my best friend after 20 years of marriage, and they got married. As much as I loved my husband, his affair wasn't a surprise. My mother-in-law told me on our wedding day that men like him don't stay loyal to women like me. She was right. What hurt the most was the betrayal from my best friend. I loved this woman and considered her a sister. Since then, I have gone NC from both of them. Any communication regarding the kids goes through a third party. If they are at an event, I don't go there. My kids know this and have respected this boundary. They know not to mention them to me, and we celebrate birthdays separately. The kids are now 16 female, 17 male, 17 female, 18 female, and 21 male. Recently, when we were all at our house, 16 female asked me if I was okay with her calling her stepmom mom. She said, since she will have a half-sibling soon, this will make the half-sibling not confused and part of the family. I told her that no, I am not okay with that woman being called mom, but she could call her that if she wanted to. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean she doesn't have to do it. I won't be mad at her if she calls her mom. The other kids started getting mad at her, but I shut them down. My mother-in-law called me screaming, saying I'm alienating the stepmom and I should have told 16 female that I'm okay with it. I have an honest policy with my kids. I am always open and honest with them. Just because I do not personally like something they do doesn't mean I don't let them do it. For example, 17 male has a lot of piercings I personally do not like, but that doesn't mean I forbid him from having them. Am I the a-hole for punishing my daughter for sliding this note underneath the bedroom door? We recently moved into a new house. Expectedly, there's still a lot of mess to clean up, and my wife and I have been working non-stop to get everything ready before the holidays. So this incident took place last night at around 9-ish p.m. My wife and I decided to go to our room to rest and get some privacy, leaving the kids watching a movie together in the living room. Well, while me and my wife were, suddenly I noticed movement near the door and saw a finger slipping a small piece of paper then disappearing. Later on, I went to check it out and got extremely pissed. I shouted my 14-year-old daughter's name and told her to come and stand before me and read what she wrote out loud. The note said, "Keep it down. There are kids in this house." Then responded with, "I know. How did you think you and your brother and sister got here?" Then told her how her behavior was out of line completely to disrespect me and her mom like that and interrupt our privacy. She said we were really loud and she and the other kids were getting uncomfortable, but she didn't know how to tell us after she tried to call her mom's phone, but it was turned off, so sliding the note was her only choice. I told her she never should have done that and it was rude of her to address me and her mom like that, and grounded her by taking away her phone and no visiting friends or allowing them to come for a month. She threw a 3-year-old tantrum and said I was being unfair and just looking for an excuse to limit her time with her friends. I refused to argue about this any further. I told her any attempts to complain will extend her punishment period. She stormed off crying and my wife said I was too harsh on her and overreacted over a small incident. She's trying to talk me out of punishing our daughter, but I refused. Am I the a-hole? Would I be the a-hole if I have a mom's wheelchair accessible van towed? I live in apartments with terrible parking. They overbuilt without considering that maybe one parking space per unit isn't enough. They charge $25 a month for unassigned parking and $50 for an assigned covered space. I worked evenings and get home at 1 a.m. There is never unassigned parking available at that hour, so I pay extra for an assigned space. A family with a son in a wheelchair recently moved in and they have two wheelchair accessible vans. The complex provides them one handicap spot for free. I met them when they parked in my assigned spot and asked them to move. The mom apologized and explained my spot was perfect for the family's needs because it's at the end of the row and the passenger door opens onto the sidewalk. It's not officially a handicap space, but they can make it work. I went to the leasing office with her to see if I could get a different spot and transfer mine to her, because I'm not trying to make life harder for a kid in a wheelchair or his family. Unfortunately, they have 0 assigned spots currently available for rent. They used to allow people to rent as many spots as they wanted as long as they are willing to pay. They've now instituted a policy that you can only rent as many parking spaces as your unit has bedrooms. But because the parking spots are currently written into people's leases, they can't revoke them until the leases end. There is nowhere else to park. There's a bank nearby, but they'll tell you if it's there when the manager comes in. The next closest option is a Safeway parking lot almost a mile down the road. I'm on the waiting list and should have a new spot by March. Until then, I'm not giving up my current spot. The mom cried and said she really needed my spot and doesn't understand why I'm being so heartless. There is unassigned handicap parking by the leasing office, but it's on the other side of the complex. And it really shouldn't inconvenience her son, because the family does still have their assigned handicap spot right in front of their door. Seems to me that whichever parent actually has the kid in tow should coordinate with the other one to leave their spot open so their son can get in and out easily, and the other parent can park the other van by the leasing office and walk. Since then, the mom has parked in my spot a few times, and each time I left notes asking her to move or I'd have her towed. She's always moved by morning. She's so combative that I can't really stand the thought of talking to her. Last night, I got home and her van was in my spot. I had to park at the bank and walk. The mom hasn't moved the van. It's not like she doesn't know it's not her spot, and it's not like I haven't left notes warning her I was going to have her towed.